Hello. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about risk management at trading firms. Normally, we talk about risk management at banks, asset management firms, and insurance firms, and less in trading firms. But even in trading firms, risk management is extremely important. In fact, more important than in other areas of finance. It's less talked about, so let's talk about it today. All right. So, what is trading, right? I'm sure this is well known to all of us, but just the basics, right? It's just about buying and selling, right? You don't intend to hold an asset for a very long time. You just want to find opportunity in the market to buy assets at a low price and sell at a higher price and make a profit out of it, right? Question is what to buy, at what price to buy, how much time to hold, and at what time you will sell. All these decisions are extremely important in trading, and that's why people make mistakes. Not just retail traders, even the seasoned institutional traders make mistakes in making good decisions as to which asset to buy, which assets to hold for a long time, how much to hold, and at what price to sell, what is the right time to sell. So it's quite important to have best practices in place. And risk managers in trading firms actually are the ones who warn the traders against taking too much of risk, because if the traders get carried away, they can end up making or taking a lot of risk, and that could easily put the firm in huge risk. In some instances, even these firms could go bankrupt because of one single mistake. And that's what risk managers put all kinds of controls on the traders, right? So risk managers always question the decisions to be taken at trading firm. They always think purely from a risk point of view, where things could go wrong, and the bank or the company could end up losing a lot of money, right? So the idea is to maximize the profits and minimizing the loss, and ensuring that the company remains solvent. And that's easier said than done, by the way. It's not always easy to convince the traders. Anybody who has worked in risk management will tell you that convincing traders, front office people, to not take too much of risk is not always easy, because you don't encounter risky events every day, right? These events happen not very often, but when they happen, then you lose huge amount of capital, right? All right. So what are the kinds of risk that you encounter in trading? Market risk, obviously, right? Volatility in the asset prices, liquidity. You buy, let's say, meme stocks. You don't have liquidity. Well, nowadays, even in meme stocks, you have liquidity, thanks to the new generation, the Gen Z investors. But in many asset classes, you don't have enough liquidity. Anybody who has worked in credit trading, for example, will tell you that you don't have enough liquidity in that kind of an asset. Certainly, in real estate, you don't have enough liquidity many times. Commodities as well, um, right? Even in some not so popular crypto currencies, you don't have enough liquidity. Operational risk is also one other issue trading firms encounter. Credit risk, not often talked about in the field of trading. Oftentimes, it is thought that credit risk is more of a thing in the world of banking and less in the world of trading asset management. But even in the world of trading and asset management, uh, companies could face credit risk. How? Because imagine you go into a derivative contract with a counterparty, and that counterparty does not honor the contract at the agreed on time in the future, right? That's what you do in derivative contracts. And imagine if that is not honored by the counterparty, you end up facing credit risk there. And that is less uh, less encountered in many asset classes, such as in equity trading and so on, ETF trading and so on, but especially in derivatives, even in commodity trading, you could face credit risk as well. Regulatory risk goes without saying. Market products are heavily regulated, so you will always encounter legal risk, currency risk, and so on. So that you can, list all kinds of financial risk and attribute them to trading risk as well. Currency risk is also quite important to understand if you're doing trading, especially in different currencies if you're doing trading. Right. Market risk is perhaps the one that is most pronounced in the field of trading, because the values of assets fluctuate, especially assets which are known to be very volatile. For example, small cap stocks, cryptos. These assets are extremely volatile. Well, even like large cap stocks could also be very volatile. For example, the tech stocks. You see the volatility in Nvidia's stock. It's quite high, right? So market movements are very common if you're doing trading. Understanding that and ensuring that you are trading uh, in assets which are less volatile is important. But it's also important to know that if the assets are very volatile, you could also make more money, but the risk is higher there, right? So as a risk manager, you have to understand that, right? Oftentimes we understand risk through measuring volatility. That means measuring the variance of a given asset. Take a data set and see what's the variance for 200 or 300 trading days, and that's how you can sort of roughly easily calculate the variance in the asset price for a given asset. But there are more sophisticated ways also. For example, building an arch or guards model, so on. Right. You could also assess extreme market movements, or the black swan events, for example, COVID and global financial crisis and so on. That these are times where you could lose all your profits that you have made over the last decades. There were financial institutions who went bankrupt in 2007 and 8 global financial crisis. I know a bank which was a pretty big bank in Europe, and they had taken very risky derivative positions. They had no clue actually about what the risk they were taking on their book. And what happened was that they were simply not able to cope up with the situation. There was margin call, and they were putting a lot of liquidity towards that, and it was just spiraling down. So they couldn't survive. At some point, they defaulted and went bankrupt. Anyway, so market risk is very very important to understand. Volatility of asset prices is extremely important to understand, especially for new age investors. But I would say even people working at large institutions, they make the mistake of just being very greedy and trying to take big bets on some of the assets and then losing a lot of money in the process. Concentration risk is extremely important to understand when it comes to trading. If you're taking big bets, you could end up losing a lot of money. And for institutional investors, this is very important, because they trade other people's money, and that could be a problem, right? In some instances, even there are regulations in place how much capital you can put in a given asset class and so on, right? It's not there in let's say proprietary trading firms, but certainly in firms such as the banks and NBFC insurance companies, which are regulated, which use the public money to do trading activities. They have strict rules how much money they can use to buy a given asset. So if you're highly concentrated in some of the assets, that can be a problem purely from a regulatory standpoint, right? Retail traders make these mistakes all the time, by the way. I have made such mistakes, by the way, myself. So I would be honest, concentration is a very big risk if you're doing trading. So but there are mitigations in place. For example, you have to strictly define how much capital you would spend out of a portfolio, on a given trade. um, Adjusting the size based on volatility is very important. That means rebalancing your portfolio, And resizing is very important, and just avoiding high exposure, right? Overexposure to, let's say, one single asset, or one single asset class even, is very very important, right? One technique that is often used is position sizing. It means you define percentage of capital for a given trade. It can be 1%, 2%, or even slightly higher, and you also do a lot of adjustments, right? You can do, I mean, nowadays with algorithms you can do these things automatically, but if I mean, you could obviously do these things manually as well. And understanding of volatility is very very important, and making adjustment based on volatility is also extremely important. Then yeah, some of the best practices, for example, ensuring that there is stop loss in place, uh, right? That's an option. Obviously you have, all the brokers will give you that option. Many retailers simply don't use it because they think they're champions, and they will never encounter this, and they just simply, I mean, especially in bull markets, when there is so much of liquidity out there, so much of cash, so much of flow coming in. Yeah, you end up making money in all kinds of trade, even in bad trades. But in bad times, you would end up losing everything. So having, best practices in place in institutional trading is extremely important. In fact, most institutions do have guidelines, how to have stop loss at what level and so on. All right. So diversification is extremely important, especially for retail investors. But institutional investors normally they specialize, so they don't they don't over diversify. If a trading company is into commodity trading, they will only do commodity trading. If a trading company is more of a credit trading, they would only do credit trading. Or they are into crypto trading, they will only do crypto trading. So they are not going to over diversify, but that's different, right? They are playing with rich people's money. But for retail investors, it's very important to diversify across assets, asset classes, sectors, and geographies, and not to over concentrate. By the way, even for banks and large institutions such as banks and insurance firms that invest money on behalf of clients, they have to diversify, right? They do a lot of trading activity as well, right? But they have to follow rules, right? It's not as flexible as, let's say, trading at prop trading firms. And banks perhaps employ a lot of risk managers in the trading risk area compared to prop trading firms or hedge funds, right? Uh, Even though the size probably is smaller in banks, uh, size of the trade, or just the portfolio size in many banks in the trading side is perhaps less compared to large hedge funds. But you will see more people working in risk management area in trade risk in banks compared to that in hedge funds. Things are changing now. I mean, hedge funds are also hiring risk management professionals in large numbers. I mean, not very large numbers, but yeah, they are hiring more people than in the past. Anyway, as I've said, market risk is perhaps the most important one. It has various forms of risk, purely coming from the volatility in the asset, or interest rate, especially for doing to bond trading. You have to uh, understand interest rate risks very well. Currency risk, especially for into forex trading, and commodity risk if you are into commodity trading. And there are various ways to manage risk. We have discussed about some simple techniques, but hedging is also one way to manage risk in the trading area. Use of derivatives, but proper use of derivatives. It can also be misused, by the way, but options and futures and forwards can be used to offset some of the future risks. Position sizing, we have discussed about it. Stop loss, we have also discussed. Diversification is something we also have discussed. But more than that, there's also a psychological aspect, right? Which you also have to understand. And understanding what are the psychological factors involved in trading risk is very important. And by the way, there are many examples of how some traders went on to take outsized positions in risky uh, trades, and as a result of that, the institution actually went bankrupt. There are many such stories of it, and more recently, Archego, right? But there are also other stories, by the way. Anyway, if you want to make a career in trading risk area, well, you could end up working at hedge funds, at trading firms, at large banks. Not every bank is into trading. I would say I think most banks nowadays are into some form of trading, but let's say European banks are less into trading than the US banks. But nonetheless, most banks are into trading, some less, some more. Insurance firms as well, they also have trading desks. Not all of them, by the way, but many of them. Uh, in terms of skills, you need to be very strong in maths. Coding is very important. Uh, right. As risk managers, you will be building some models. You'll be doing data analysis. Nowadays, risk management has become very quantitative. So good to have understanding of risk management. You should have good knowledge of product, uh, the trading risk product or trading product. Sorry, whether it's equities, whether it's commodities, different types of commodities. I was once in a commodity research seminar. I was surprised how many commodities are traded in the market. You'll be surprised. Even you have food agri, you have precious metals, you have industrial metals and so on. So it's just the range of products um, is just quite big. So important to have knowledge about different commodities, different asset classes. Whatever asset class you specialize in, you need to have thorough knowledge of that. Regulatory knowledge is very important. So understand the financial market regulations in the jurisdictions where you're doing the trading. So in Europe, you have European regulations. In the US, they have the US regulations. So read some of these things. Easy to read some of the things. Just find some documents online, read. That should be sufficient. Okay, and in terms of education, I think anyone with a degree in quantitative field, whether it's economics, finance, engineering, science, mathematics, statistics, should be able to do a good job as a risk manager in different trading firms, hedge funds, banks. So, if you have interest in finance, you're good in mathematics, then this is a career for you. Some people are, disappointed because they wanted to become a trader but couldn't get a chance. But this is the next best option, I would say. If you are a risk manager at a trading floor, you're also having a very good career, right? You could also end up becoming a trader one day. That is also a possibility, but some people prefer being a risk manager than doing the trading, right? So that option is also available to you. Pretty good career, especially if you have interest in financial markets. Thanks.